Bienvenue encore à tous qui regardent la vidéo par la suite. Nous avons un bon nombre de personnes, un nombre auspicieux de personnes, 33 personnes, qui se rejoignent autour des communautés de lumière. Aujourd'hui, Kabir va parler de ce qu'est une communauté de lumière et comment nous pouvons la créer et la co-créer. Cela traite d'expansion. Je méditais ce matin et j'essayais de comprendre qu'est-ce qui essaye de se passer ici. C'est une question qu'on adore se poser à Ananda, c'est d'essayer de comprendre vers où la vie nous guide dans ce moment présent. Et oui, je méditais à propos des communautés de lumière et pourquoi maintenant? Et je pense que c'est cela dont le monde a besoin avant tout. Le monde a certainement besoin de paix, d'harmonie et d'amitié. Comment pouvons-nous développer ces qualités de vraie amitié? En français, ce mot amitié veut dire que nous devons être en contact avec l'âme, amitié. Pour être amis avec quelqu'un, nous devons nous contacter avec l'âme. Souvent, nous pensons à la spiritualité comme quelque chose pour les êtres spirituels, mais en fait, être un ami implique avoir une relation à l'âme. Et donc, les communautés de lumière, les communautés, même juste vivre ensemble, cela implique que nous sommes capables d'aller vers l'intérieur, de communier à l'intérieur et d'être dans cet état de joie, d'inspiration avec les autres. Maintenant, si nous voulons participer dans la guérison du monde, nous pouvons aider la croissance des communautés. Donc, qu'est-ce que c'est? La communauté peut être n'importe quel groupe de personnes. La première communauté dont nous faisons partie, c'est notre famille, bien sûr, et peut-être l'école dans laquelle nous sommes, nos amis. Ensuite, professionnellement, nous sommes engagés avec des personnes. Donc, nous sommes toujours dans des communautés. Et c'est très intéressant de voir le développement maintenant en Europe, par exemple. La communauté européenne à propos de la paix. Maintenant, ça paraîtrait absurde pour nous de penser à une guerre entre les Français et les Allemands. Mais il y a moins de 100 ans, c'était le cas. Ou entre l'Allemagne et la Grèce. Et pourquoi est-ce le cas? Pourquoi est-ce qu'on ne pourrait pas y penser aujourd'hui? C'est parce que nous étions capables de développer ce sentiment de communauté. Et maintenant, nous avons assez d'amis dans chaque pays de l'Europe pour sentir que ce serait trop bizarre de nous bagarrer avec nos propres amis. Cette communauté est reliée à ce sentiment d'amitié vers les autres. Je ne vais pas parler très longtemps parce que nous sommes ici pour écouter, entendre à propos d'un témoignage. Donc, Nayaswami Kabir est ici avec nous. Janavi, est-ce que tu peux le mettre en highlight pour qu'on puisse le voir pour ceux qui ne connaissent pas encore Kabir? Oui, merci. Bienvenue Kabir. Merci de consacrer du temps à cela avec nous. En effet, Kabir n'est pas loin de là où je suis. Nous sommes en ce moment dans sa maison à Ananda assise. Et nous vivons dans une petite communauté ensemble et c'est beau de voir ce que nous voyons avec Janavi et ce que Kabir enseigne avec la création de communautés. Nous pouvons en faire l'expérience dans cet environnement avec Kabir et Bhajana qui est ici dans cette maison avec nous. Et on peut voir qu'il y a cet équilibre, ces qualités dont nous avons besoin pour être en bonne relation ensemble dans un groupe. Nous pouvons en faire l'expérience ici. Donc Kabir, tu vas nous parler de communautés de lumière. Et avant que tu parles, et c'était ton idée, je pense que c'est une très bonne idée, nous allons entendre le témoignage de notre ami Rajarshi. Donc tu travailles avec Rajarshi. Rajarshi est un jeune Italien dans le nord d'Italie. Il a 2 restaurants et une entreprise de catering. Il a cette entreprise très proche du lac de Como et tu as travaillé avec lui pour valoriser son travail de cette manière. Est-ce que tu peux nous dire un peu ce que tu faisais avec lui, avec Rajarshi? Oui. Si je puis, avant, je voudrais demander, est-ce que Rajarshi est là? Oui, il est là. Ok. Donc, je vais simplement dire 2 choses avant d'entendre Rajarshi. Mais le plus important, c'est de dire bonjour tout le monde, je suis heureux de vous voir ici, bienvenue. C'est une joie de passer du temps avec vous sur ce sujet très important et quelque chose qu'on est en train de co-créer ensemble, ce beau groupe d'âmes et avec Dieu, avec nos gourous. Quelque chose de très spécial essaye de se passer. Donc c'est une belle opportunité de partager et de vous introduire à certaines de ces idées et j'espère d'essayer de continuer de l'amener vers l'avant avec ce groupe et avec d'autres. Donc je suis très heureux d'être ici. Je vais introduire Rajarshi juste brièvement, un petit peu plus. Donc Dharmananda, tu me demandais qu'est-ce qui s'est passé avec lui. J'ai eu cette direction qui m'a été donnée de créer des communautés de lumière et des communautés de types différentes. Et un jour, Rajarshi était là à Ananda assise et il m'a dit « Oh, j'ai entendu parler de ces communautés de lumière et j'aimerais de voir si tu pourrais venir et aider nos entreprises, ces belles entreprises en relation avec la nourriture, et de les aider à devenir des communautés de lumière. » Et j'ai dit « Oh, c'est intéressant. Une entreprise, bien sûr, bien sûr. » Quel que soit le groupe de personnes qui se rejoignent pour quelle que soit la raison, peut devenir, a le potentiel de devenir une vraie communauté qui travaille ensemble, de se relever les esprits les uns des autres, d'avoir une concentration sur des plus hauts objectifs et de les atteindre ensemble. Et quand cela est atteint, quand ces objectifs sont atteints, ou même si on a juste tenté de les obtenir, alors tout est relevé. Et cela amène plus de succès à l'entreprise. La joie et le succès pour les employés et les clients. Et en fait, à tous les niveaux, le succès peut venir. Quand le travail a de la cohésion, les gens sont connectés au plus haut niveau. Il y a vraiment une grande cohésion. Donc, je suis allée à Rajarshi et il va décrire cela. Mais j'ai eu une journée merveilleuse avec lui. C'était merveilleux. Nous sommes allés dans un environnement extérieur. Rajarshi a apporté plusieurs douzaines de ses employés, tous des personnes qui servaient la nourriture, des chefs, des administrations, les fondateurs, Rajarshi et ses partenaires. C'était merveilleux. On a tous connecté en tant qu'êtres humains dans la gentillesse et l'entraide. Et on a discuté donc des chakras. Et donc ils ont fait l'expérience de cette théorie des chakras et c'était vraiment joyeux. Et elle leur a donné cette idée on peut avoir ce flux d'énergie et que nous voulons identifier les points forts dans notre champ d'énergie individuellement et collectivement. Et j'ai trouvé aussi quelques petits challenges, et on en a tous, et comment aller au-delà des challenges pour qu'on puisse faire l'expérience de ce flow. C'est ce qu'on a fait, et je suis allée plusieurs fois, et j'ai vraiment profité de ce temps, et j'en suis vraiment reconnaissant à Rajarshi d'avoir ouvert cette porte dans ma conscience que oui, quel que soit le groupe dans lequel nous sommes, c'est une communauté. Et nous avons commencé avec une communauté, notre famille, nos écoles, Là où on travaille, nos clubs, ce sont tous des communautés d'une manière très belle. C'est tout ce que je voulais partager un petit peu plus aujourd'hui. Donc je vais maintenant passer la parole à Dharmananda et ensuite à Rajarshi. Ah voilà, Rajarshi. Oui, bienvenue Rajarshi. Ça fait plaisir de te voir. Bonjour à tous. Heureux de faire votre connaissance. Bonjour. Nous nous sommes connus très récemment avec Rajarshi. C'est sentiment de connaître un vieil ami, une belle rencontre qu'on a eue dans la maison de Kabir et Bhajana. Donc merci Rajarshi d'avoir pris le temps avec nous. Tu travailles avec Kabir, avec tes entreprises depuis quelque temps. Est-ce que tu peux expliquer quel a été le processus, comment l'idée est venue et où est-ce que ça t'a mené? Et si tu veux dire autre chose, tu peux le dire. Mais si tu as quelque chose à rajouter, tu peux le dire, bien sûr. En tout premier, merci de nous rejoindre ici, de partager cette expérience qu'on a eue, de nous connecter plus et d'être une communauté en ligne virtuelle, mais très unie les uns avec les autres. Merci pour cette opportunité. Oui, donc cette histoire a commencé quand j'ai fait la connaissance de Kabir la première fois. À ce moment, comme il a dit, j'étais à Ananda assise. À ce moment-là, j'étais sur le chemin depuis quelques années. J'ai commencé mon chemin spirituel consciemment avec Ananda, Yogananda et nos maîtres en 2022. Et en 2023, j'ai trouvé Ananda et j'ai commencé à dédier ma vie à ce beau travail du maître. J'ai réalisé que c'était ça ma vie et que tout ce que je vais faire dans ma vie devrait être en alignement et en accordement avec ce travail des maîtres. J'ai découvert à l'intérieur de moi-même que ma mission était de connecter tout ce que je faisais à cela de la manière que je pouvais, mais vraiment que tout devrait se relationner à ces enseignements. Donc j'ai commencé à réaliser que c'était possible d'apporter cette conscience et ces enseignements d'une manière ou d'une autre dans mon entreprise, dans la vie quotidienne du travail et dans tout ce que nous faisons. J'étais très conscient du fait qu'on ne peut pas aller vers les gens du jour au lendemain. À partir de demain, on va prier tous les jours avant de travailler. Et on ne peut pas méditer 2 heures ensemble. Mais on peut apporter un exemple de comment apporter les enseignements et appliquer et vivre ces enseignements universels. Ce sont vraiment des enseignements universels. On peut en parler de manière universelle, effectivement. C'est quelque chose qu'on a fait par la suite avec Kabir. Il a apporté ces enseignements donc avec ce langage universel aux personnes. Parce que les personnes qui travaillent avec nous ne sont pas sur le chemin spirituel. Ils ne sont pas sur le même chemin spirituel et ce n'était pas une bonne idée de présenter les enseignements de la manière dont nous le vivons. Et pour ceux qui ne le savent peut-être pas, ce qu'il veut dire Rajarshi avec le chemin, ça veut dire ces enseignements que nous suivons de Yogananda par rapport à la méditation, comment vivre dans le monde et comment garder cette vibration haute. Donc tu as dû changer le langage. Oui, j'étais conscient de cela Et au début, avant de faire la connaissance de Kabir, ce n'était pas si facile d'amener ce que je vivais dans la vie quotidienne au travail. C'était peut-être plus facile de le vivre juste pour moi-même et de ne pas le partager avec les autres, de ne rien faire avec ça. Mais ensuite, à l'intérieur de moi, le maître me poussait pour apporter cette énergie de la bonne manière pour nous et pour les personnes qui étaient là, mais seulement de l'apporter ces enseignements de manière universelle. Ce n'est pas juste pour certaines personnes, c'est vraiment pour tout le monde. Ce sont des lois universelles d'une manière ou d'une autre. Oui, je comprends. Donc, comment est-ce que c'est venu à ta vie professionnelle? Et combien de personnes travaillent dans ces restaurants avec toi? En ce moment, nous sommes 40 personnes chaque mois parce que nous avons une entreprise saisonnière. Donc, toute l'année, nous sommes 40. Et pendant la saison, nous atteignons à 80 personnes pendant les périodes les plus intenses de la saison. Parce que nous demandons à de nouvelles personnes de venir pendant la saison et étendre notre groupe à 60 jusqu'à 80 personnes. Ça dépend. Oui, je comprends. Et donc, le jeu a vraiment changé pour nous. Pour moi, vraiment, ça a été quand j'ai fait la connaissance de Kabir et c'était une journée pluvieuse assise. Je parlais avant avec Ruby de mon intention pour connecter, apporter les enseignements à ma vie professionnelle de tous les jours. Et je me souviens que Ruby m'a invité à me connecter avec Kabir parce que ce serait une très bonne chose pour moi. Et après 3 heures, 2 heures, j'ai rencontré Kabir. C'était drôle parce que ce jour-là, mon plan, c'était de quitter Ananda après le repas du midi. Mais pour cette rencontre avec Kabir, j'ai décidé de pousser mon départ jusqu'au lendemain. Donc je suis restée encore une nuit pour faire la connaissance de Kabir dans l'après-midi. Parce que nous avons un nombre limité de temps, est-ce que tu peux nous dire un peu plus ce que tu as vu dans ton travail qui avait besoin d'aide et comment faire la connaissance de Kabir a aidé avec ça? La première chose qu'on a fait avec Kabir, c'était il nous a rapporté tous ensemble, d'écouter. Il a pris des notes et a voulu comprendre les besoins, de vraiment augmenter l'énergie avec une journée ensemble. Et à partir de là, on a commencé à travailler sur les peurs, cette première chakra. Voir l'entreprise comme un être et regarder les chakras. Donc avec Kabir a commencé à prendre des notes et à comprendre où étaient nos points forts et nos points faibles. Et on a découvert qu'il y avait un problème de communication. Donc le 5e chakra était un peu faible. Tu veux dire qu'à l'intérieur de l'équipe, il y avait un manque de communication? Oui, exactement. Il y avait un manque de communication dans l'équipe qui était un manque de relation. Nous avons découvert plus tard que la communication, c'était une conséquence du manque de relation. Et à partir de là, nous avons décidé de rencontrer seulement les leaders, les personnes dans les positions de responsabilité, et de travailler avec eux sur ce point, d'aller plus profondément dans notre bureau. Nous étions seulement 10 personnes et avec un autre questionnaire que Kabir a préparé 2 semaines avant. Il est venu avec Bhajana à ce moment avec un esprit clair après le service du dimanche. Et nous sommes allés profondément dans ce point. Il y avait une très belle énergie parce que tout le monde a commencé à ouvrir leur cœur. Et c'était pas le genre de choses qu'on faisait avant les uns avec les autres, mais ce jour, chacun a commencé à ouvrir leur cœur à l'autre et on a commencé à partager nos sentiments sur pourquoi quelque chose s'est passé et quel était notre sentiment dans le cœur. C'était si beau. Je présente quelques photos en même temps parce que il y a des beaux moments de ce travail ensemble. Donc, tu m'as dit, Rajarsi, que la première fois que tu as vu Ananda et que tu as découvert cette manière de vivre la communauté, cette belle énergie, la première fois, tu planifiais déjà d'apporter, de venir à Ananda avec 10-20 personnes, toutes des personnes de ton entreprise. Et cette expérience d'apporter Kabir vers ton travail et d'apporter les personnes, tes collègues vers Ananda, est-ce que tu as vu un changement dans la qualité des relations? Par exemple, le manque de communication, est-ce que vous aviez pu le supérer? Et qu'est-ce que vous avez appliqué pour aller au-delà de ça? Je peux voir vraiment les beaux bénéfices de ce travail parce que les personnes, nous devenons de plus en plus conscients de ce que nous faisons. Et nous commençons plus en plus à nous aimer les uns les autres, à nous comprendre et de vouloir nous comprendre les uns avec les autres. Et je sens qu'il y a plus de conscience les uns et les autres à l'intérieur de nous. Nous prenons plus de soin avec nos mots, avec nos relations. Et chacun co-crée, co-participe dans cette communauté consciente. On ne peut pas se définir comme étant une communauté consciente, mais on essaye de l'être. Donc il y a ce sentiment d'amitié qui vient de plus en plus grand. Oui, bien sûr. Et donc tu es capable maintenant de nourrir ce sentiment d'amitié dans ton travail. Oui, et
we are doing through specific advices also that Kabir gave to us. One of the most important that we received for the leaders, because he rightly said that if you want to expand this consciousness of friendship and community to all the people, you have to be a community first in the management team. Okay, you have to be very strong in that circle, and then you can expand this consciousness, this energy to all the people that are working with you. So he suggests us to, in order to build relation and to build friendship, to take some time weekly or monthly to go out and do something very different, completely different of the work duties and work tasks, and just enjoy and relax with the team. So you can go to have a walk in the mountain, you can go and have some fun or eating at the restaurant, but in that time you just have to be focused on building the relation and to have fun and to give to each other without thinking of anything related to the job.
To the job. So it's really about the quality of relationship that you are nurturing. You said something when
and
we
it
were...
was true. It was true because if I think to this, we had never had time for just to work and being serious and never for relax and having fun in a good way, in a uplifting way, not just going out in the night and have some drinks. It's okay, but more consciously, he suggested to us.
Walking on a mountain, that's a beautiful image. You know, you said also something which I'd like to share, and maybe you can say a few words more on that. When we were meeting here, and I was asking you about a feedback of your experience, and you said, I asked you, can you see really a shift in the consciousness inside the restaurants with the team and the people working together? And you said, yes, you can. And you know, I was wondering if this shift is going to last. And you said something very interesting. You said, when we define the consciousness and the way we work together, we define the culture, and the culture will help when people come inside this place, this work environment, and this work environment functions in a specific way, it will help raise their awareness to that level. Do you confirm this experience, and do you see that still?
Yes, this is a good point. I wanted to talk about this, but then I forgot. And it's a very good point because, yes, for me, and the goal is to create a right, dharmic and strong culture within the company. These thoughts came to me when I saw a couple of interview of great entrepreneurs that they used to say that you have to focus on building culture in the company. If the culture is strong, everything else will follow. And what we are doing and what Kabir is helping us is to build and create a strong and dharmic culture. And in this way, if we can do this now and we can create something strong and clear, the people who will come will be aligned and easily and naturally with what we are doing. And also we are going to attract that people that are naturally aligned with us. And this is what happened to us after that. The people that are coming now, that we are attracting, the new the people who we are hiring now are in a different level of consciousness. We can see that.
Beautiful. So you said two words, and I think after we'll hear also and listen to Kabir to speak about how he works and what he can propose also to us. You said to build a strong and dharmic culture, and I just wanted to highlight the fact that dharmic culture means, if I'm, and you can correct me, of course, that a culture where I'm in an environment where the righteousness, which is, you know, finding the right way to interact together, attuning to the highest value in mankind, you know, all these good values that we all know, like patience, generosity, compassion, care, friendship, you know, all these things that we don't need to believe in God in a way to know and to recognize that these qualities are what uplift consciousness. So thank you very much for sharing. Do you have any last thought you'd like to share, Rajarshi, about, you know, encouraging maybe those present? The number is growing all the time. We are more and more here. So there is a real interest about how to live in communities, how to live together in a you know, dharmic way, as you said. Do you have anything to share from your experience to encourage in that direction?
Yes, what I can share about this is that what I discover and what I'm discovering is that these teachings are you can apply these teachings everywhere, every time, in every situation, in every environment. And these teachings are perfect for everything. You can apply in everything, and especially in business and in community, of course, are perfect. And And this is what I discovered, that you should bring the teachings wherever you are and in the way you are, through the example. And if you are in a position of leadership, of course, try to push more to bring this wave. If you are not in a position of leadership, you can just with example maybe change the consciousness of other people, or increasing your magnetism and energy, go in a position of leadership and then try to change with not strongly, but with the right action, the environment and what you are living.
Beautiful. You point something also very important, is that we, and there are people here that we invited who are in position of leadership in schools or in businesses, in communities linked to Europe or to different things. And you are pointing to the fact that it is a responsibility for those persons. It is possible to nurture this strong culture, this consciousness that can help people inside this. Yes, Fiona, of course, inside this structure to rise. So this is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for your testimony. I'd love, and we would love to come to see in Como how it works and to feel this change, also to feel what is possible there. I think this is really, as Yogananda pointed out, he said, build communities, build brotherhood colonies in the world. This is the future of the world. And of course, if great difficulties come, as they seem to come, we will need more and more of these communities. So this is really a beautiful path that you opened in a way, Rajashi. So thank you for that. And
I want to share a little thing before go.
Please.
About an example, a real example that happened 2 weeks ago with
Sure.
a guy that worked with us. He lost his wife in Bangladesh, and the people, the head of marketing, Lisa, started proposing to all the other guys and employees and to us and everyone to start fundraising for him, to start raising funds from him to make to create a condition for him to go back to Bangladesh and to stay with his sons and daughters and to pay all the things. And it was so beautiful for me to see. I was in Ananda and they started doing this very naturally and with strong determination. And they are raising a lot of money and a lot of energy and sending this to him. And it was very beautiful.
So you can see that this work bear fruits, like you don't need to be there, but they now begin to work and to relate to each other in a beautiful way.
Yes, exactly.
That's a marvelous way. Thank you for sharing this also. And yes, now we saw that it's possible to change the world in a way, and that everything begins with us. As you did, you began to go in that teachings, and then you find a way, you open the door so that these teachings can come to you. And Kabir is that way for communities of light. I mean, he's one way, but he's a very inspiring one. We'd like now to hear about you, Kabir. Thank you. So now we see you, and how is that possible? Can we actually go also? We are not maybe, we may not have a business, or we may not work in relationship, but is that possible for us anyway to go in these in that dimension? And of course, we'll have some question and
Very
answer.
good. Thank you. And I want to thank Rajasi for his beautiful statements and testimony to the power of these teachings and its effectiveness. And your question, can we? It goes much past can we. it's our duty to. It's our destiny. More, that this is why we're here, and incarnating and so forth. And I can share more about that. I know if Fiona has questions, and Fiona will come back to that, because in this next little section, what I would like to do, give it a brief introduction to how this whole, it's like a kind of a system with a direction. And I want to share a little bit about that with you and introduce that, and a little bit of the background why and how this came about. So I won't talk for a long time, for just a few minutes, and then I'll be asking us to have a time for breakout rooms so that people can share their ideas and inspiration and questions with each other for about 5 or 8 minutes, something, and then we'll come back together and have a general Q&A discussion all together. And I hope that's right, Dharmananda. Does that sound right to you? Work okay?
This
Good.
is perfect. We can do exactly as you wish.
Well, thank you. Well, what I'm trying to do is also tune into this beautiful group of people too, that and what's trying to happen. And it's wonderful to see all of you here and to feel all of you here. Actually, it's a real, again, testimony to the inspiration and guidance that we've all been receiving inwardly. There, I think more and more of us have that sense that whereas we know that things are changing in the world rapidly, and we're facing challenges, but not only that, we're facing tremendously beautiful opportunities. That the challenges are meant to prepare us to grasp and perceive these opportunities, and to grow with them and to change. The challenges are also, on another side, intended on, in one way, to distract us from our purpose. And so I'll address that just briefly. Back in 2002, I was here at Ananda Ceci with my wife, and Swami Kriyananda, who I came onto this path in 1977. So it's been a few years and decades even, and worked closely with Swamiji for many years, and in America, in Europe, and in India. And he called me to his home and said, "I want you to write a book." And he, through the conversation, he clarified that he wants there to be a work started around communities, and not just Ananda communities, that it would include Ananda communities, but beyond that, because he said, first of all, Yogananda's mission, when he first came to America, he wanted to start communities in America, and schools, and various communities, what we now call communities of light. He called them world brotherhood colonies. And he felt this deep guidance from Babaji and inwardly to bring this energy to and understanding consciousness into America. And it turned out Americans were not ready. Understandable. It was 1925. And they had never even seen an Indian such as Yogananda. And so he eventually just focused on the spiritual communities, also the ashrams for the monks and nuns. But that dream, that mission of his was clearly stated, even in his first writing with the autobiography of a yogi. He talked about communities a lot. And Swami Kriyananda, who was with him as a direct disciple, said he was very prone to bring it into many conversations and talks about the need. And he clarified why, and 2 points were there. One is that, I'll start with the more difficult point. He said the world is going to go through many, many dramatic, traumatic changes as it transitions into a higher level of consciousness. And he described almost exactly what we're seeing today. And we didn't know. Swami talked about it a lot, and he said, we don't know when it's going to happen, but let's be prepared and for these kind of changes. And it was clarified, how do we prepare? Well, of course, some people would certainly say, well, get these bomb shelters built and the food storage and so forth. And okay, that may be a way, but that's on one hand seems important. On another, it's superficial compared to the real preparation, which is number one, meditation, being able to receive that inner guidance, to quiet and still the emotions, which are that can be so disturbing. They can be very important as well. And so not to dismiss it, but there's a place where we are able, through the practice of techniques that have been given to us and spiritual understanding, to quiet that and still the mind, the tumult of the mind, and to be able to listen to our own higher self. And we all have a beautiful, very deep higher self that maybe people have heard about or might not even consider, but it is true. And the higher self is already present within us. And we have the ability to access, to realize this part of ourselves. And this is where the destiny comes. Our destiny is to realize it. It's not to create it. It's to become aware that already exists inside. And in the higher aspects of ourselves, there are solutions. There's joy. There's this magnificent love quality and peace, no matter what is happening. So the technique. Now I've been meditating for a few years. I'm still working at it. It's not that easy in this world, I know. And so if any of us have struggled, welcome to the team. We're all working at it. And the world in itself does not necessarily cooperate with those of us who say, I just want to be still a little bit. And I want to not keep hearing the news in my brain or the different issues that are going on, or the attachments or likes or dislikes. That's the normal stuff. But the meditation, that stillness, whether you have a proper one technique like from Yogananda or what was from the mindfulness, or just powerful breathing techniques, pranayamas that Bhajana teaches, each one of us has our own way, and tune into that. And we support that to help us to get into that deeper center and that power center that is already present inside. Now, again, that's not easy. And that is where community comes in. Community comes in for, now sort of tie this into the chakras and briefly, because this is just an introduction to it. We know that many may understand that the human is endowed with these power centers, energy centers within our subtle bodies, and they are, the first through seventh chakra and more actually, but we focus on especially the first six with the intention of awakening and freeing that energy up to attain the energy of the seventh, which is the higher self and unity with more. I don't want to go into too deeply. I don't want to lose anybody at this point with it, but we'll again, these are things that can and will be discussed and experienced further as we go into it. But the concept, the work that has been given to us is that as we are journeying and working with our own energy centers in a way that if we are with others who are also doing that, yes, some guides are helpful and necessary along the way, some with a little bit more experience, but that we're all working together and we're all working to experience for our own selves what this is. Like Rajasi has experienced it, and I'm the messenger. what Rajasi received and his group, these are aspects of truth that are existent within each one of us. And I was privileged and honored to be a messenger to relay that in a way that was able to be received. But the truth is that we are living beings of tremendous ability and tremendous light as well. And we forget it. The world does not teach that. The world does not want us to even think of it. And so there's a lot of distraction that occurs. When we come together in a community of, as we might even say, a community of light, there is a strength of support for one another that is absolutely essential in this world. And that is a power that our power added to the strength and energy and insight of others that are having the same purpose, working in the same direction in their lives, struggling even through the same or similar or related challenges, and working for solutions, and we help each other to do that. My gosh, it's the most amazing experience. And everyone, the world is teaching and struggling, pushing people to feel a sense of separation and isolation and anxiety. I mean, we see this in the news, and I don't want to give a lot of energy to it, because the energy goes toward, that's not truth. It's not the reality, actually. The truth is that we are here to take these challenges and turn them into tremendous opportunities. Not just opportunities, tremendous opportunities that are existent right now. And there is a tremendous amount of what we might say grace and a different consciousness that's flowing into this planet. And I apologize if I'm using terms that are maybe a little too esoteric for some, but it's a certain kind of a grace that is saying, okay, take the next step and work together to do that. And again, Yogananda stressed community, 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 and let's build and support each other in this journey. And that's what we're doing. Look at this. We have 40 people here with us now, and that's a community. This is a very powerful opportunity that people are sensing. Let's move in this direction. Let's see how we can develop and grow together in this way. Now,
and I would like to add here a word,
please.
because you are saying that we are a community, and this is true. We are, that is what Zoom also and the new technology brings, is we are able to connect even if not in person together. This is something we would like to propose also, is that Kabir is helping different people, places to grow in this quality of living together or working together, being together. And each of us, we are living in different places, we're living in different environment, roles, and we can contribute to these places, to where we are, in uplifting, exactly as Rajashi did, for example, in his restaurant, how to uplift consciousness there in very practical ways, how to create a culture, as he said, that will uplift and attract the people that are compatible with it. And so that is also, before we go in the breakout rooms, as you proposed, I just wanted to say that if you are interested in going deeper in that, in these teachings, in also, but very practically, applying them to your businesses, to your environment, home, family, friends, etc. We are going to propose this. I mean, we are proposing 4 webinars with Kabir following this introductory webinar, where you could be a part of that, and with your experience, your question, your own life, participate and help create at the same time this community, which we are already, but also spreading this this dimension and this quality in your own lives. So this is something we'd like to speak again at the end, because we are offering that in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks from now with the first webinar. And that's something which we are very happy to bring in. So you wanted us to go in breakout rooms. Is that still...
Maybe I would take 2 more minutes to just to show
Of course.
put it on the share, just to give an indication to people sort of how this is developing, and in terms of one of the tools is understanding consciousness from the perspective of what we know as the chakras, but out in the world now, I'll refer to it as the 7 spheres of consciousness. Each one of these has an aspect of a principle. For example, we know about the 4th chakra, which is of the heart, and what we want to do is to be able to see that people are more important than things, for example, and that we can create this beautiful a connection point with each other and help each other to grow. This is developing the relationships before, because I would like to even say, the quality of any group is reflected through the quality of its relational field, how people are connecting with each other. And what we're really striving to do is to align our purposes, even though different, but in a similar direction, and the hearts and our wills, that we can work together, respecting the differences and enjoying the differences, and combining these differences to make a tremendous whole together as a community. This becomes a community of light when we're working toward this higher purpose. And so this is something that is of tremendous value as we're exploring these different spheres. The sphere of unity, the 7th, where we're bringing all this clarity and flow from the first chakras. And community, we often think, okay, down the first chakra, the sphere of foundation, absolutely important. It creates this sense of safety and trust and belonging there that we build, and then co-creating in the second, and working together, of strength and vitality in the third, and of the heart and caring for each other in the fourth, and communication and truth in the fifth, and the tuning in through our meditations and other practices to a deeper vision that we can work on together, for not only for ourselves but also for whatever group we're working with. And then these break down into a lot of practical details too. I'm going to leave it there, but what I can say, following a little bit from what Dharmananda said, that we want to, for those who would like to continue going into depth with this. In fact, we're offering now starting courses, but just realizing in these last few days that where this is really going to is one aspect of it, I should say, is the Conscious Community Institute, which we're forming for Europe and America and India. And so encouraging people to hear more about that at some point and participate in that too, creating something not just for ourselves, but maybe for the whole world, and to bring that into a place where we can all participate in building something that for ourselves, for our families, for our businesses and schools and children, but also for humanity. And that was in alignment with what Yogananda's mission was. So that will be coming forth as we continue on. Okay.
Thank you, Kabir. Thank you very much. Kabir just mentioned briefly the system, with which he's working, and which is just brilliant. I'd love to have more time to share it, that you could share it more in details. we are going to go more now in the practical questions of what is the state of community in our lives, where there so many hearts are popping out. Thank you for your enthusiasm, all of you. It's really beautiful to be, going in that flow together. And Kabir, would you have a specific question you'd like to ask so that we can know?
Yes. First of all, I would say that everyone has heard something throughout what Rajarsi said, or Dharmananda, and or myself, something that strikes home more than likely, and that touches your heart and your mind, and maybe inspires. I would say, when in these breakout rooms, share that with each other. Let yourself just feel and express where you're feeling that hint of inspiration, or and maybe seeing that may indeed be a subtle direction for your lives, or the next steps of the journey. So to explore that with each other a little bit, how have what you've heard, how has it affected you or touched you, and how might you be able to take that forward? Also, what questions do you have? So there's 2 or 3 different aspects there. What questions that we can bring back into the discussion? But after the breakout rooms, I'd love to hear, some of that inspiration that you're feeling, and then we'll have some Q&A time as well. Free to just share informally if you have something. Again, it would be very interesting to hear what inspires you, what do you feel, a connection with, as maybe even a next step, and or a question. But let's just have a free discussion. Just join in as you feel.
So don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to just turn on your mic and speak, to share what inspired you. Yes, welcome.
I'm very happy to hear those wonderful experiments that you had, and to learn more about it. And what I feel and what I'd like to share is that I often don't dare. And my feeling here is that, as I know it from my life, very small is very much. And what I received from people from the heart was sometimes seems small and was very much for me. And I am just very happy to deepen that feeling that I can, maybe it seems to me that it's small, but it has its part, and it's meant to be. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Yeah, let us dare. Absolutely. It is time to dare do these things. And it's beautiful because we can be accompanied. We can be guided in a very strong way. Kabir has lived in communities. How long have you lived in community, Kabir?
Since, actually, my first community was in New York before Ananda. It was 1972 when I started that one. And my second community was the U.S. Navy. You might wonder, how is that possible? But it's a community, and I learned a lot from that community, actually. How not to bring my ego into anything.
For example, you're living in Ananda community since 79?
77. I came to Ananda. Yeah, that's right.
May I come in, or is it?
Fiona, I was just going to call on you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No, it's just that I do feel like I'm in this kind of magical place where I work for this huge international organization. And throughout my whole career, the last 28 years, I've been creating networks or communities, if you wish, all around the world on the topic I'm working on. But also I've been called recently to start different associations. I'm involved in a million different things. And I'm just thinking, it's what I like, and what inspired me, really touched me at the heart level, was this idea of bringing the light and the consciousness. And so I'm just kind of questioning myself a little bit, how can I how can I do that? But obviously, I can't bring in any kind of notions of quote unquote spirituality, as a term. But I'm just thinking, And I do feel that I bring some of it with my own energy,
Yeah.
this consciousness and light. And I've seen incredible miracles, coming from that. But I'm just sort of thinking like, what could be the next level? And this is why I'm super inspired by this. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, Fiona. I really appreciate that. In fact, it's a question that probably most of us have, and all of us at different times. And one aspect I share with you about this program is or this approach that we have is something we've put together called From Me to We. And you were at the program in the Yogananda Fest in France there, and I introduced some of it, just saying that, what we're bringing to the world, we build in ourselves, just like with Rajasi. The core team needs to be able to realize it and develop it within themselves, and with each other. And then there's a magnetism, there's an inspiration that comes out of that it's almost contagious. Joy is contagious, and so what you do is but we work on ourselves, and through an understanding of where our strengths are, and this comes through the program that we have, that with the different chakras and questionnaires, that a survey kind of a thing that helps one to relate and identify strengths. Number one, how to bring out your strengths. And everybody's got strengths, and most of the time they're hidden, or they're just not quite sure how to bring it out, and or reluctant, not sure if it's right. Yes, it's bring out those strengths and develop them further. But we need to realize what those are. So that's one. And then discover where there are some aspects that are holding us back. And we all have that. It's why we're on planet Earth, actually. we have something that is holding us back from realizing and being who we truly are. So number one is go through this process of being able to recognize our strengths and how we can develop ourselves. And secondly, start to practice it, bringing it, not necessarily, you don't have to bring it immediately to your high level right there, because it has to be adapted, of course, as you're saying. There's certain ways, and I know we don't talk about God or in companies and things like that, but there are other ways of saying it. But we can practice with our family. We can practice with our meditation group. We can start to see these other situations that we're in. Those are little mini communities, and they're important. They're very important. And we're bringing what we're developing in ourselves, we're bringing it to the others and helping others to grow in the same way. Even I've seen so many instances where one or two people will be working on themselves, and all of a sudden their own parents are changing, without having to say the words, or their friends. Sometimes the friends move away and new friends come in, because ultimately what we're doing is just almost like a formula. We're raising our consciousness, and people wonder, okay, what does that mean? And that gets translated into some details in this course, but we're raising a frequency, a vibration, and the higher vibrations are more awakened. It's like the hot air balloon, seeing this rising up and up, seeing much grander vistas, and seeing a broader understanding of a perspective of the whole. And as we do that, we are changing. And as we are changing, we might not even be conscious of it, but we will be affecting those that we are around. We are all affecting people we're with right now, for good or bad. It's happening, and they also are affecting us. Because we're actually, what we're doing truly, this is very important. We are realizing our unity. This is not just a cliche. This is the truth. We are realizing how we are not just connected, but we're actually deeply connected as if I may say, as one. But that's a journey to realize that aspect of it. But we're moving in that direction and connecting in such a powerful way. That's what community is. So, Fiona, just to be able to, we're working on ourselves. We extend that out to other groups that we're with, experiment, learn. That's part of this whole course that we do, because people will be say, okay, let me try that with this group. And we talk about that and obstacles that come up and how to work on it together. And then move it into a broader, higher level as well, as is appropriate for that individual. So that, does that help you a little bit with that? Fiona, it gives you something. Okay. And we can talk, and I encourage you also, Fiona, you can write to me and talk, and we can set up a Zoom. I love what you're doing. You're reaching, it's something, you're doing something that's very important in this world. So all of us are in that way too, even if it's just one or two people. Okay.
Thank you again. I have to say that the our translation for French is going to run out. She's going to run.
Yes.
She's going away because she has some things to do. But I know that some others are very good in both language. Maybe if somebody wants to take over, just write a word and we can assign you at the translation. I just also would like to say that this question is very important, that Fiona said, how can we bring that in an environment where there is no question of spirituality? We don't speak about spirituality, meditation, or, to spiritual terms. And this is why also we brought Rajashi into the picture and have his testimonials. It's because it's possible. Kabir has also a way to adapt the vocabulary and the way to speak about things to the environment that is there. So don't hesitate if you'd like to know more about it before. And I know many of you have to leave now or will have to leave soon. So we'd like to say that if this adventure of building communities of light in your own environment interests you, if you feel you'd like to grow in that direction and manifest it, please do write to us. We are constituting a group with, I think, 15 people maximum will be in that group, and we'll meet 4 times in the next couple of months. So that will be every 2 weeks, and we'll see how to apply these principles guided by Kabir's understanding, system, and experience of that. And so you're very welcome to join if you feel a call in this direction.
So can you just say that in French, especially for Marina?
Bien sûr, bien sûr. So I will just take, Oui, donc on n'a plus de traduction en effet. Merci pour les Français qui s'accrochent et qui essaient de comprendre. Enfin, un petit peu, ce que je voulais dire, c'était ce que j'ai dit en anglais à l'instant. Donc, pour ceux qui sentent un appel pour manifester communauté de lumière dans leur vie, que ce soit dans leur famille, etc., restez en contact avec nous. Vous pouvez nous écrire. On est en train de constituer un groupe de 15 personnes qui vont être accompagnées par Kabir dans justement comprendre comment vivre cette dimension-là dans leur vie et nourrir cette dimension-là, les communautés de lumière, de tout ce qu'on a entendu parler ici. OK. And there was, so, je crois qu'on n'a pas de traduction pour les Français maintenant.
Et
Désolé,
si tu veux, tu peux me mettre et je le fais.
Oui, c'est possible?
Oui.
OK, so I'm going just to put... OK. Ouais, super, Marina, bienvenue. We have the first person that said, I'd like to be part of it. So I'm going to put you, Janavi, inside the translation channel. Could you tell me how to do that, Janavi?
Go to interpretation.
Yes.
We can do back and forth. We don't have that much more to go. It's okay.
Fabien, tu voulais dire quelque chose?
Yes, I had just a practical question. I'm a management consultant. I have been for quite a long time. I do more operational, so very on the floor, shop floor. So some of what you showed and talked about talks to me. But I would have been interested in even more going into the detail of the case study, etc. And so, I am a management consultant. So if you had to do 3 bullet points, what are the 3 things that in your intervention on the in the restaurant business? So what are the 3 things that made the difference? What were the keys to unlock?
Roger, see. Oh, there you go.
Do you hear, Kabir?
Did you hear? Was that to me or to Rajasi?
Either of you. I mean, you were.
Let's go to Rajasi for a second and just say, Rajasi. So 3 things that made a difference to you. There. And you're on mute.
The 3 tools or the 3 things that you brought. Yeah. Yeah.
But which type of
Peut-être, Fabien, tu pourrais répéter la même chose en français pour les Français.
Je sais pas, il y a pas de traduction finalement ou...
Il y a pas de traduction.
Non, il y a plus.
Je veux bien le faire, mais il m'a pas...
Non. Donc, je posais la question bon, je disais juste que je suis consultant, que une partie de ce que Kabir me disait, me parle, je l'ai vu, je le vois, mais ce qui m'intéressait, c'est qu'il puisse me dire quelles sont les 3 choses qu'il a apportées, les 3, que ce soit les outils ou oui, qui ont fait la différence en fait. Quels sont si on devait venir à l'essence même de la chose, est-ce qu'il peut me dire 3 choses qui ont fait la différence dans son intervention?
Okay, Fabian, but you mean tools for me as individual or as a
restaurant?
No, for your business, for this, you feel that your business has been to a certain extent transformed by the intervention of Kabir and the work you did. And I can see that you did a number of things. So you did some workshops, you did a survey, etc. But if you had to distill it down to its essence to say, well, what really made the difference? What was it that
2 or 3 things?
Yes, 2 or 3 things that you think, oh, this is what actually unlocked the way people work or the way people interact.
Yes, the first thing that I feel to say is that the will of being friends with the people you are working with, but intentionally trying to offer yourself as a friend to the people and seeing them as a friend. I used to not always see them as friends. When I started to see them as friends, something changed completely.
Can I mention one thing, Rajasi, to explain? First of all, let's translate that into...
Ce que Rajasi a dit, c'est qu'en effet, la première chose la plus importante, c'était de voir les personnes qui travaillaient avec lui comme des amis. Et à partir du moment où il a appliqué ce principe, les choses ont commencé à changer radicalement.
And I'll add, to just expand a little bit, Rajasi, on that aspect, that, people might say, okay, well, I can't be friends with that person or that person for whatever reason. But what we were really working on is friendship as an expression of seeing them as human beings, as people who are beings that are striving to awaken and to do their best. And we're all going through these different things. So what we start to do is to feel something different in our hearts, and that's just something we develop. People are more important than things. And we start to apply that principle wherever we are. We don't expect them necessarily to be our friend. Maybe that will happen. But we can act in a way of caring and compassion, but that his employees, they're actually real people. They're not just workers. They've got their lives, they've got their stories, they have their strengths, they have their challenges. And it's a different way of this. The frequency goes higher to see a little bit more of the real energy that's coming in through these people. I'm sorry, translation?
Yes, I can try. That's beautiful. So, un principe fondamental, c'est que, donc, et qui fait partie du 4e chakra, donc de ces centres de conscience qu'on va amener dans les communautés, c'est que les personnes sont plus importantes que les choses. Et donc, de voir en effet qu'une personne qui travaille dans un environnement, c'est pas seulement un employé, mais c'est aussi une personne qui a ses difficultés, ses capacités, ses talents, et la voir dans une plus grande image, voir cette plus grande image, ça demande déjà ça va amener à une conscience plus grande aussi. I think I did summarize more or less.
Good. Thank you.
Just to go your way, I have, as I say, I've been in a lot of companies, a lot of very different companies, and one of the things that you do see is a manager, and especially a senior director of a factory, his perceived efficiency, quality, etc., is directly linked to how often he goes on the floor.
Yes,
so you'll have directors
exactly
who will every day go around the floor, shake everybody's hands, and you can think that that's a complete waste of time because you've got a big factory. That's a lot of people that you're going to go around and say hello to. But it makes a huge difference. And when you talk to people on the shop floor, they're always going to tell you about this guy. We never see him. This guy, he's there all the time. And what they want is to see the guy all the time. They don't want to be doing their thing by themselves. They want the guy to be there. Yeah.
And happy people are more productive. More productive is more successful. More successful generally translates to a more balanced income and higher, success rate in many different aspects. In Rajasi's, his success, of course, can be measured ultimately in the financial end of it, which is an important measurement. But it also is how happy are the workers and how that translates to how happy are the customers, and the quality of the whole experience is what people are looking for now. Quality experiences and not just the beautiful food. I mean, I've had that food several times. It's, you must all come to Italy, and Como will have a workshop in this restaurant. Breakfast,
we are not good as French. Good.
Well, I recognizing the time, I think this, let's just hold it with that one, if it's okay with you, that one very important point. There are more, and that will come up in our discussions. I want to just close with, and then you can translate, and I'll close with 6 hints for what to take from this to do with your families or groups, wherever you are. 6 little things. You can write it down, or we'll send it out as a note as well.
Je voudrais juste résumer rapidement ce qui s'est passé aussi avant. Donc Fabien a dit qu'en effet, ce qu'il voyait tout à fait dans le sens de ce que disait Kabir, c'était que quand un directeur d'une entreprise est présent, et c'est-à-dire va voir chaque jour tous les employés, une grande différence dans la qualité des relations et du travail. Et Kabir synthétisait en disant oui, en effet, on peut voir, et on peut aussi voir que quand on travaille, quand les gens sont plus heureux, ils travaillent beaucoup mieux, et on va voir cet équilibre également dans les finances d'une entreprise. Et maintenant, Kabir propose de nous donner, pour terminer, 6 choses importantes, donc 6 choses clés, 6 principes qu'on va pouvoir appliquer dès maintenant dans nos vies. Yes, Kabir.
Okay, so one that Rajasi also has mentioned, enjoy each other's, find opportunities to enjoy each other's company.
Comme Rajasi en a parlé, trouver des opportunités pour prendre du temps, prendre plaisir à la compagnie des autres.
For example, taking walks in nature. Nature has a way of absorbing our negativity or worries and feeding us with a calmness and peace.
Et par exemple, donc de passer du temps dans la nature, d'aller marcher ensemble dans la nature. La nature a une manière d'absorber toutes nos tensions, nos problèmes, et de nous donner quelque chose de paisible.
And it gives people an opportunity to just be themselves and to start to chat and connect, to speak and listen.
Et ça donne aux personnes qui marchent ensemble cette opportunité de s'entendre, de s'écouter, de se parler, de connecter vraiment dans une autre qualité.
Second would be to take time for your own personal spiritual practices or calming practices or centering practices, whatever one wants to call them.
Et la deuxième chose, c'est de prendre du temps, chacun d'entre vous, pour votre propre pratique personnelle, qu'on appelle une pratique spirituelle ou simplement une pratique de recentrage, une manière de se calmer profondément.
And that will come into the group, but also, if possible, and I'll phrase it in this way, to meditate together. In some cases, that's possible.
Et cela, donc, cette qualité qu'on va nourrir en soi-même par cette pratique de recentrage va se manifester ou va aller dans le groupe quand on va rentrer dans un groupe. Mais si on a la possibilité de le faire, on peut aussi pratiquer ensemble, c'est-à-dire aller dans un recentrage avec les personnes, méditer éventuellement ensemble, si c'est possible.
And that has a profound effect. When people are meditating together, they start to connect in a different way.
Et ça a un effet profond, plus profond, enfin très profond, c'est-à-dire quand les personnes se mettent à méditer ensemble, elles vont commencer à relationner aussi à partir d'un autre niveau.
And third, to do something of service together, like work on a garden or do something of help that would help society in some way.
Et la troisième chose, c'est de se servir ensemble, c'est-à-dire par exemple de travailler dans le jardin ou de faire quelque chose qui sert la société d'une manière ou d'une autre.
And fourth, to be able to, if it's appropriate, to learn a little bit together, sort of have some goals, something, a book to share that has guidance or classes or the webinar that we're discussing, doing things together that expands our awareness and consciousness.
Et la quatrième chose, c'est d'étudier ensemble, de se nourrir avec quelque chose qui nous permet de faire grandir notre conscience et de faire ça ensemble, comme par exemple des enseignements, des livres ou les webinaires qu'on vous propose, toutes ces possibilités de grandir ensemble.
And fifth, have coffee and croissant. Just sit and enjoy a meal, enjoy sitting at the bar, cafe, and just relax and enjoy a meal together is such. We did that with Rajasi. We had wonderful lunch together and just chit-chatting rather, and being able to connect and informally. It's a wonderful opportunity just to be ourselves as human beings.
Et la cinquième chose, c'est prenez du temps prenez un thé ensemble, un café, un croissant, prenez du temps pour ces moments simples et agréables aussi avec les personnes. Juste parler de choses qui viennent naturellement, sans pression.
And I realize that, Fiona, this is not necessarily what you do with 1,000 people in your corporation, but the idea would be starting small with little groups and experiencing it together, how we grow together. And the last one is highly neglected in this world. Have fun.
Have fun. I'm just saying what you said to Fiona.
Please, yes.
Kabir disait aussi qu'il réalisait en parlant que pour Fiona, par exemple, qui travaille avec des milliers de personnes ou dans une grande coopération, ça va être corporation, ça va être difficile de prendre un café croissant avec chacun, mais on peut commencer avec déjà quelques-uns, c'est-à-dire commencer en miniature à quelques-uns. And the sixth one, have fun.
Have fun.
Amusez-vous.
Laugh, enjoy life together.
Riez et profitez vraiment de la vie. Soyez joyeux, profitez de la vie.
I took 30 people here at Ananda camping up on a mountain one weekend.
Une fois, j'ai amené 30 personnes ici à Ananda sur une montagne pour camper ensemble pendant le week-end.
And it turned out that it was one of the biggest rainstorms of the year. We hadn't planned. We didn't know that was coming.
Et finalement, ça a été le week-end où il y a eu l'orage et la pluie la plus importante de toute l'année.
But we were prepared and we set up tarps and everybody was working together and laughing and enjoying it. And we were even cooking pizza on a campfire and everybody loved it and laughed and laughed.
Mais on était préparés, tout le monde a travaillé ensemble, on a mis des tarpes, des bâches pour pouvoir se couvrir, on a même pu faire un feu et faire la cuisine ensemble, on a même pu faire des pizzas ensemble sur un feu de camp.
Even 20 years later, they were talking about that weekend.
Et encore 20 ans plus tard, les personnes qui ont vécu ça en parlaient encore de ce week-end-là.
Because they went through a challenge together and discovered joy.
Parce qu'ils sont allés à travers un défi, un challenge ensemble, et elles y ont découvert la joie.
And they became a community of light.
Et elles sont devenues une communauté de lumière.
Okay. Thank you all for being with us. It's been an honor and a joy for me to feel the connection with all of you. And I look forward to more.
Merci à tout le monde d'avoir été présent. Ça a été une grande joie pour Kabir de sentir votre présence, votre lumière. Et Kabir se réjouit de continuer dans cette direction avec ceux qui le voudront. Et oui, je précise encore une fois, so I do say that all that, if you feel interest, if you feel, how do you say, de l'élan, if you feel you'd like to be part of that, desire to grow in that direction, please do write to us and we'll just organize the group that will jump in that boat and go in that experience. So thank you, all of you. Thank you also for the translation, those who have done it. Eva, but she's no more there. And à très bientôt. See you very soon for a café croissant or webinar.
Thank you. God bless you.